Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my favorite brushes, and I don't think in the history of my channel I have actually done this video. So if you are interested in seeing the brushes that are my current go-tos, the ones that I grab if I'm traveling, the ones that I reach for out of all the others, and I love brushes, then stay tuned because we're going to get into it right now. I feel kind of like I'm cheating on some of my favorites because I have a ton of makeup brushes, but I'm really trying to hone in on the ones that I'm using because I'm trying to purge some from my collection. And while purging might just mean putting them over on the shelf for my niece to play with, I'm trying to get them off of my vanity because it's getting a little full. So these are my go-to. These are the ones I grab for travel. These are the ones that I consistently am using for everyday looks. Now, there are some brushes that I will only use for like super fine detail, but I don't do a lot of detail work daily. So I am not going to include those brushes in this. These are my go-to everyday brushes that I normally will use each and every day for a look. So let's get into it. Let's start with face brushes. So face brushes, I really am a fan of, and these are not cleaned, so let's not judge anybody. I am a fan of beauty sponges. This is the Morphe and Jeffree Star collaboration. I love this sponge. I like that it has the real pointed end so you can get right underneath your eyes. This is great for baking. My other sponge that is a tried and true is actually the EcoTools. I use this one every single day, and I usually will then pick up the Jeffree Star one for, like I said, the under eye, or if I'm blending a contour like a cream product, so that I try to use this one for really foundation and this one for more of the darker products, just to kind of keep them separate. So moving in the face category, this is the #1 brush from BH Cosmetics in their Rose Gold collection for an all over face powder. This, I feel like it just distributes everything nicely, gives you a really blurred finish, but it's still nice and soft and fluffy. And I think the whole set I got for like $13. So, and there are a few, I think that I have another one from this collection, but I think it's in my eyes. So this one for my all over face powder, this is my go-to. All right, and for foundation application, if I'm using, I kind of go through phases. Like sometimes I'll use foundation brush, sometimes I'll use the sponges. So foundation brushes, I do go back and forth with the sponge versus a brush, and normally the only time I will pick up a brush is because I did not wet my beauty sponge before doing makeup. So give me a thumbs up if you know what I'm talking about. So these two are the ones that I go back and forth with. This is the Love is the Foundation brush. This is by IT Cosmetics, and I believe these are exclusive to Ulta. It's in like the cute little heart shape. This is dirty, I just used it. I don't think this one is actually available. They come out with one, I think, every year, but this one, it's more of a domed type style, like a kabuki brush. I really like this for actually putting on, like I will stamp on foundation and sometimes kind of blend, but I like this one. Another one, and I actually saw Jackie Aina use this one. This is the NYX Professional Makeup foundation brush, and this is an 03. There's not a name, but it is kind of a real soft, it's dense, but it's not super dense. It does have some give in there. This is a great brush for foundation. I love putting CC creams on with this. This one also I will use with my La Mer foundation. Flawless coverage. So this is my other foundation pick. For blush, I use the Morphe E4. It is this tapered blush brush. This one is, I mean, it's starting to kind of spread out a bit because this one is pretty old, and I have washed this and used this for probably, I've had this brush for at least 6 years, and it is still in fantastic shape. It does not shed. I really like this. I feel like it gives me a nice blended out blush without it being too patchy. It can really help build product up, and it disperses it nicely. So, and it's very soft, so I like that. For contour, I use the Morphe M530, and this I will use with powder products as well as cream. I have the Chanel, the one in the pot, the, what is that called? The Chanel Detan, I don't know. But this one is fantastic for that. Also, I use this in powders. It really gives a nice shape, and it cuts right in there to give you a real nice definition while blending out. It diffuses so you don't have a really harsh line unless you really want it to. I do use this as well sometimes to contour my nose. I will just kind of grab and pinch just to go down the sides of it. So this is a really great brush for contouring. And if I really want like a detailed contour, this is the Luxie 512. This is a small contouring brush. Sometimes, just depending, I will use this one to kind of stamp my product on and go back in with this brush to kind of do more of the blending work. So those two are kind of a pair. I use these interchangeably often. For highlighting, oh my gosh, I didn't even pick out a highlighting brush. I use a lot of different brushes for highlighting. I think a lot of it, for me, it depends on what highlighter I'm using, but I will give you a few of my favorites. The Luxie 522 tapered highlighter, this gives you more of a diffuse, like if I'm using one that maybe has some glitter in it, that I kind of want it to maybe eliminate a little bit of that glitter, I will use this one. The Morphe M510, this I do for a little bit more of a more precise highlight. I feel like I get a better precise highlight with this, and this is also really good for the Cupid's bow area. And the Anastasia Beverly Hills, I think this brush works literally with every highlighter, so I do really enjoy that one for highlighting as well. For under my eyes, which I did not grab this one out either, I don't know why. For under my eyes, if I'm powdering right here, I find this one fits wonderfully. It's so soft. This is the Sigma Tapered Highlighter, an F35. And this brush you can use for highlighting, which again, I kind of use it interchangeably, but I really will use this to focus on translucent powder or my Hourglass, those ambient light powders right underneath, just to give me a little bit more coverage in this nice corner. It tucks right in there. So it's a bigger brush and it is fluffy, but it is very precise as well. So I do like that. All right, so moving on to eye brushes. These are my favorite. This is actually very difficult for me to eliminate because I have a lot of brushes. So we're gonna kind of go, or actually these two are still kind of a face brush, but you'll see what I mean. So when I do my concealer and I carve out my brows, I am using, to do the carving part, I am using the Luxie 246 Precision Crease Brush. So this is the Luxie 246 Precision Crease Brush. This is the one I use. It is very thin. It is dirty right now because I just did my makeup. I use this to get right underneath that brow, clean up around it. If I do a cut crease, I will also use this brush because it is pretty firm and it gets very, very narrow. So for detailed work, this is a good one, but this isn't every day. I have to have this. If I go anywhere, this brush comes with me for sure. Let's see, I should have kind of gone in order. Well, this will be in my order. So that would be what I do first to kind of carve out my brows. To blend that out, I'm gonna pick up one of these two. It just kind of depends on which one I grab first. First, I have the Morphe E45. It is just a soft domed brush. This brush is very, very soft and comfortable. It's not scratchy. I will use that to blend out the concealer or primer on my eye. And a lot of times the reason I use this brush is because I have too much product and I will run this right underneath my eye for concealer. The same with this. This is the Morphe X Jeffree Star JS3 brush. Same thing, very soft. It's a little bit of a different shape. It's not as dense as this one. I find that this one works really well with the actual Jeffree Star concealer. This one I find works better with the ColourPop concealer, just to kind of give you some reference. But I do use these for the same thing. It just depends on which one I grab first. So for my shadows, normally when I'm putting one in my crease, I normally go for a nice big fluffy brush because I don't normally do, again, a lot of precision work. This is the Morphe M504. This brush is so soft and big and floofy, and it just, I mean, it just, you can see how it spreads out when you're using this with a product. It blends everything and diffuses. If you are a one shadow girl or boy, this is what will work for you. This will put it, you can pack it on your lid, blend out those edges, and you're good to go. I use this a lot, especially during the week when I am lazy and I snooze a whole bunch of times. The next brush, I use this mainly for packing on colors on the edges, on the outer corners, or even in the inner if I'm doing a halo eye. This is the Luxie 229 tapered blending brush, and it is a duo fiber brush, and it gives you some really nice precision without it being too precise. So a lot of my looks, as you kind of probably are picking up from my brush selection, are not exactly precise. They are more of that smoky, blown out look where I can get that diffused look. I don't like a lot of harsh edges and lines, and this one definitely gives me great coverage if I want a lot of color and packing that on, but I don't want it to look very blocky or chunky, if that makes sense. So this one is another great one. For packing shadows on my eyelids, I am a big fan of this brush. This is the Luxie 209 large shader brush, and this brush, when I received this, I actually got this in a BoxyCharm, and I was like, ugh, I hate this shape of brush. But I actually tried it and I was like, oh, I kind of like that. So this brush I will load up with, especially if I'm doing a really dark shadow, and I will pack this on, and I will go back in normally with my big floofy brush and just kind of blend and swirl the edges. Perfection. So this one, I would assume it's available, but maybe not with this handle, this colorway, because this actually came in the festival BoxyCharm, like the Coachella-y one, but this brush is definitely a winner. Another brush that I use, and I normally will use this with no product on it. This is like my no product brush, even though it's not going to look like it. This is the Luxie 250 large eye blending brush, and I will use this with no product just to blend out the edges of my eyeshadow. I use this for that because I know that there is no shadow on it, so I will never pick it up, and I've used, you know, like a pink or an orange or something that's going to be left in it. So that is why this brush is designated for just that. I need to wash it because it does have residue from when it's blending and doing what I want it to do. But I love this brush. It's kind of like a flat top but very fluffy brush. I find that my eyelids are a little too hooded to actually use it for shadow, which is why I use it up here right underneath my brow, and it works perfectly for me. The next brush, I believe that this brush, I want to say this is probably the most expensive brush that I'm showing today. Yeah, I want to say this is probably one of the most expensive. It took me a long time to get on this bandwagon, but now that I'm on the wagon, I don't think I'll ever get off of this wagon. This is the Smith 232 blending brush, and it is just magical. This brush surpasses if I had to pick just one, it might be this one. This brush, I don't know if it's the shape, I don't know if it's the bristles. It blends everything, even shades that you're like, oh my god, this shade is so hard to work with. This brush is so worth it. You can see it is loved. I've just used it today to do my makeup. I mean, this is like another everyday. So if I could have a pair, it would definitely be these two. You know, this one to kind of get my edges out, this one to really just get in there and blow everything out. But this brush, I want to say I think it's $27 for, let's see. So when I am doing or attempting to do a winged eyeliner, which is not often because if you watch my channel, you know it doesn't normally turn out well. This is the Sephora Pro Angled Liner Brush, and I believe it's number 22. This one, it gets very, very thin, great to use for a liquid liner. I actually will also use this with like a brow pomade to get those real nice thin strokes up here. I will do some detail work within my lashes if I need to, like tight lining, and even on my waterline. This is a fantastic brush. I believe this comes in a set. I would assume you can buy it on its own as well. I got this one year for Christmas, but this is actually a very nice brush if you use a potted liner to do that liquid liner business. Everybody that can do a wing, you'd probably really like this. So me, I'm still practicing. We are almost to the end. So this brush is actually another one from that BH Cosmetics Rose Gold collection that I picked up. This is the number 6, and I love this to do a little bit more of a defined crease. It's very small, so it is fluffy, but are you gonna focus? So it is small and fluffy, but it definitely gets right in to where you want to add maybe a little bit of depth or dimension. This is great when I want to use like a really dark brown or a black to kind of give me a little bit of extra depth in my eye look. So I really like this one, and it's very it's not very densely packed, so this shadow that you use with this is going to go on and spread out very nicely. It's not going to be extremely concentrated. The last brush or slash tool that I have is this. This is from Inglot, and this is the 45S, and I know that you can get these from many different retailers. I actually purchased this when I lived overseas. It is a silicone brush that you use to apply glitter, and this is so you do not have to do it with your fingers. You can dip this right in and it picks up the glitter, and then it just spreads it right on for you. So it's a neat tool. You do not have to wet this. I know that e.l.f. has one. I know that several indie brands carry these, but if you are into glitter or like those really pretty pigments, and you know, it's hard to find something that will work with them and not you have a huge mess all over yourself. I find it's really difficult to work with some glitters and pigments because they go everywhere, but this is actually, I don't know how this works, but I think because of the silicone, the glitter just kind of adheres to it, and then you just tap it right on. And I love the shape of this because you can get right on that inner corner and just kind of tap out your glitter and you're good to go. So these are my favorite tools. I have some other brushes that I'm looking at and I'm like, ooh, maybe I should have added that one. Maybe I should have added that one. But if you want to see a video of maybe some of the more detailed brushes that I use, every once in a while, I'll be happy to do that. Just let me know in the comments down below. I hope that this video helped you out. It is not sponsored. I'm not affiliated with any of these companies. These are just brushes that I have tried that I like. I try a lot of brushes. I have a lot of brushes that I pick up and I never use again because I do not like them. So I hope that this helps you if you are looking to pick up any brushes. Brushes do not have to be super expensive. Most of these are very affordable. Like I said, the only one that is pricey is that Smith Cosmetics brush, but I definitely think it's worth it. I don't know about their other brushes though, so this may be just the one banger out of their whole line. I don't know. So let me know what brushes you like down in the comments below. Are any of these your favorites? Do you have any favorites that I need to try? Because I'm always looking for new brushes to add to my VIP lineup. So let me know in the comments down below. Please make sure that you give this video a thumbs up if you have not already. Make sure you are subscribed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.